was popping. Fresh dough. Got the car loaded up. You ready to head to Boston for a comedy show at this place called Ann Tane. Alright. I'm eating these gourmet jelly beans. These things are delicious. And a couple of days ago, I did a video of why I stopped dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses, studying with them, whatever, why I left, or whatever you want to call it. I was never baptized, so I was never really fully in, but I was damn near on the verge, though. And in that video, I watched it. It's a good listen, but it's all over the place. And my explanation wasn't like super clear. I'll turn to this media real quick. But in a nutshell, damn, it's not letting me turn the volume down on this shit. Damn. In a nutshell, I basically said the things that bother me was just the hypocrisy. The fact that at my age, you know, I was like 12 or 13 when I started, and I just had way more seriousness and enthusiasm than all the kids that were around me within the Kingdom Hall, and they were born into it. So that bothered me from the beginning. And how the adults, they always try to repress young people's sexual desires and always being in their business. Like now, like I was saying before, it's not like you tell your kid to fucking do whatever, but you still got to give them some guidance. And if they're gonna have sex, just give them the proper tools to take care of themselves, right? That always sat wrong with me, and it was like I was never good enough for a Jehovah's Witness girl. But at the same time, I wasn't allowed to date worldly girls. So basically, it was trying to make me a fucking eunuch. Like, I put some gas in my car. I'm gonna still talk to y'all though. Hold on. So that always bothered me. It was definitely a cult. It wasn't like a cult worthy. And that's another thing too. When people used to say that Jehovah's Witnesses were a cult, we would always argue, well, nobody's forcing you to do this. But yeah, but there's different types of cults, and there's different types of mind control. A lot of it is all physical in your face. Some of it is suggestive. And they were more suggestive with their influence. A and B, they usually influence younger people first. You could convince any kid that bullshit is true, whatever you want to teach them. You know? That's why they get them so young. That's why they try to convince so many kids to get baptized at a young age, because they don't know nobody. That's why they suggest that you don't go to college. You know what I'm saying? Because once you go to college, you're exposed to so many different things. And that's what happened with me. Like, I never fully believed it, or it always didn't sit right with me. It was logical for what it is, for their scriptures and their Bible and their publications. It made sense within the confines of their information. When you start branching into other things, you see where a lot of stuff came from. Because all Jehovah's Witnesses are, they're the bastard child of fucking Christianity. And Christianity's bullshit in general. So, once you're exposed to all these different religions and all this different information, once you get of a more mature age, and once you get away from the people being your big, I did a Bible study, real talk. I did a Bible study from like when I was 12 to when I was 18. It shouldn't take no damn 6 years to figure out if you want to worship God. You know what I mean? Like, that was just way too long. And the thing was, what was unique about me, I used to always, whoever was my Bible teacher was, I would always stump them so bad that they would always have to like change my Bible teacher. I had, who did I have? Let me see. I had, first, I forget the first guy's name. Then I had my boy Leo. And then I had Andre. I had like 5 or 6 seats. The one I had the longest was my boy Roy Forrest. That was my, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If anybody was like a father figure or bigger brother type of my life in that religion, it was him. And he wasn't a bad dude. He was just young himself. He's 10 years older than me, so I was like 14. He was 24. You know what I mean? And medical student into college. He used to go travel for Spain. You know, he had his problems with chicks and stuff like that. And we would find out about it, but you know, he telling us we shouldn't be messing with girls and doing this and XYZ. He doing the same thing. You know what I mean? That's how it was. But that was like a microcosm of a lot of the big brother, little brother relationships. You know? And it was never no funny business as far as like sexual misconduct with a little kid. Nothing like that. Roy was cool as hell. Because it was Roy, my brother Darren. Darren is on my Facebook friends list. My boy Darren. He was cheerleading head coach, UConn. Jevin, I think Jevin, my boy Jevin. Jevin was the one that's closest to my age. They had a sister Monique. They had another older sister and another older brother. And their parents had this huge house like in Cheshire, man. So whenever it came to like conventions and assemblies, like me, sometimes my boy Muncho, we would all, or my boy Jemiah or whatever, we would all stay over in Cheshire before we went to upstate. It was just easier that way, but he was just a young dude trying to teach young dudes. It wasn't, he trying to figure it out himself. He don't even know if it's true himself. You feel what I'm saying? So, but at any rate, I talked about sexual repression. I talked about hypocrisy. People telling you what not to do and then finding out all the motherfuckers is freaks. Not all of them, but a vast, huge majority of the youth that were my age. And I'm sure some adults was getting it in too. It's just I didn't stay around long enough or ask enough questions to find out that information. but when I found it, because I was about to get back into it, like 2002 or whatever, I was thinking about coming back. But once I found out about all that stuff, it just really turned me off. I'm like, if I'm gonna be scandalous and or whatever, you know, being around a group of individuals, why the hell am I gonna do it in the confines of this Kingdom Hall that pretty much everybody like ostracizes you as far as what are you doing with every freaking minute of your life and how you dress and carry yourself up. I'm gonna try to be more clean with this video too, not curse as much, and how you conduct yourself, etc. And I'm like, yo, I could like be out in the world and be getting my freak on and nobody judging me. It's like, yo, either I'll be in the hall, get my freak on, and people judge me, or be out in the world, get my freak on, and nobody really judging me. You know what I mean? Like, it's a no-brainer. It just didn't make no sense, man. And lastly, the story of Job. The story of Job, and this is just for Christianity in general, not just Jehovah's Witnesses. I can't see how anybody could follow a God that would allow something so harsh at his will happen to his most faithful servant on earth just to prove a point. to a lousy, lowly creature like Satan. They say we created in God's image. No father in his right mind would let his son, who never did nothing wrong, go through a whole bunch of crap just to prove something to somebody that is worthless. No father in the universe would do nothing like that. But that God's supposed to be our father. I would rather not be associated with that God. So that means I would rather not be associated with anything that believes anything even firmly close to that, which is in the Bible. If that wasn't in the Bible, maybe I would think different. But because it's there, I can't do it. That's enough for me not to want to deal with it, period. Period. Like, you can have the best tasting dish in the world. It's mad delicious. It's the greatest thing you've ever eaten in your entire life. But the one drawback is it has like 4 quarts of semen, human semen in it. Now you've been eating this, and you're like, this shit is good. But you find out it has 4 quarts. I said I was gonna try to be clean, but I just gave you a dirty analogy. You find out it got 4 quarts of human semen in it. It's good. I've ate it before. It's good. Make me feel good. But I know it got 4 quarts of jizz in it. I cannot associate with it. Period. I'm not. Don't want nothing to do with it. So that was my first half, right? That's a recap of the first half of why, not just dealing with witnesses, but religion and Christianity in general. I just can't do it. But Jehovah's Witnesses, looking back on it in retrospect, a real thing that turned me off to them and had me very, very angry towards them for years and years and years. They're dream killers, man. Dream killers. If you got any type of artistic ability, if you have any type of talent at a young age, if you know exactly what you're going to do, they're not going to tell you what to do, but they're going to suggest you do this for Jehovah or do it in a different way. And it's very, very discouraging, especially on a young mind. You got a bunch of grown-ass adults that gave up on all their dreams, trying to pass their pessimism and bullshit onto you as a child who's still young, who basically only sees eternity and sees nothing but unlimited potential. And they take away that innocence. That's just, to me, it's not as bad, but it's on the line of raping a child because you're taking away their innocence. Now let me explain to you. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a comic book artist. I always wanted to draw comics. Now, I remember when I started drawing comics, I started tracing comic books when I was probably like 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old. I would always trace them. Then I started getting good enough to where I don't even have to trace anymore. I could just look at them and draw them myself. And then I started writing scripts and short stories, and I would illustrate my stories. I was getting into that heavy. Now, this is pre-JWs, right? Now, I came in contact with them maybe when I was 12, right? But I would study with them here and there. They wasn't fully into my life to know what it was I was doing. So, it was my whole crew. It was me. I was the penciler. I used to draw. My boy Muncher used to draw. My boy Devin used to be the writer. My boy Anthony used to be the writer. And Jemiah used to draw. And I would write a little bit too. So we had a whole little crew. It was called Dark Comics, D-A-R-Q, because my real name was Quinn. Devin Anthony Raymond Quinn. That was the comic book company, right? And yo, we was serious. I mean, we would look up books, studying like the anatomy and like proportion and perspective. We was real, like, we were young kids, 14, 15, 16 years old, right? And we knew that we wanted to be a comic book company. And we would have meetings every week. We would always do this, write our stories, and I got an attic full of stuff, of drawings and stuff, right? But I used to also be heavy studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, and they used to always preach against violence and things of that nature. So I forget which one said it, but a few of the brothers would say, it's nice that you draw comics and write stories, but they're kind of violent, so we don't know if Jehovah would actually approve of such publications that you're doing. And as a matter of fact, the time that you're putting in drawing these comics, you could be drawing for Jehovah. Now they telling this to a fifth, since I was 9, I knew that I wanted to be a comic book artist. How many young children know exactly what they want to do for the rest of their life? And it was positive. It wasn't like it was nothing negative. And it wasn't like I was trying to be a basketball player. I wanted to be an artist. That's what I wanted to do with all my heart. I used to always buy Marvel comics and DC comics, and then a lot of the artists from Marvel, they broke off, like Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane. They broke off from Marvel, and they created Image Comics, and we used to look up to that, man. And we wanted to form our own faction. Rob Liefeld, we wanted to form our own faction. I'm telling you, we used to have meetings every week. We had crazy stories. Shit was fucking dope. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, all this time and energy you're using towards that, use it towards the Kingdom Hall. Or they will tell us, you can be an artist for Bethel one day. And Jehovah's Witnesses got some dope art. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But come on, I want to just draw people with turbans and reenacting Bible scenes. Even though the Bible's got some violent ass scenes that could potentially be drawn out. But nah, they wanted that cookie cutter shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? At any rate, they never told us to stop drawing. But as a 15, 16-year-old kid, you got grown, and it's only the men. The women didn't tell us it's the men. You got grown-ass men, 35, 40, 50 years old, seeing that we're excited about something positive, making our own illustrations and comic books and stories, telling us that the Almighty God doesn't approve of what we're doing. And the more serious that we got into the religion, we started believing the bullshit, the less inspiration we had in trying to draw comics. The less inspiration we had with that, man. And I remember it, plain as day. I was like a senior in high school, like 17, and just their negative, passive aggressive, God probably doesn't approve of your violent stories, blah blah blah. It just turned me off. I remember talking to my psychology teacher, Mr. Kimball, and I was like, yo, and I used to come to school with my portfolios. I used to draw in class. They didn't even bother me. I used to work on my stuff in class when I got finished my classwork. We used to walk around with our damn portfolios. That's how we did as a crew. I told my professor, I was like, listen, my teacher, Mr. Kimball, I was like, I think I'm giving up drawing. I'm done with this shit, man. He's like, wow, you hanging up the pen. And I'm talking about, I was drawing from like 10 years, from like 7, 8 years old to about 17. And I gave up drawing. And you know what's funny? One of my friends, his name is Joe Perez. Look up his Facebook page. That dude is a dope-ass artist, man. He's a dope comic book artist. Guess who taught Joe Perez how to draw? I taught him how to draw. If you look at Joe's stuff now, Joe's stuff is so freaking phenomenal. His artwork, he could be at any comic book company right now, right? Joe basically carried the torch from when I left off. I stopped doing it, Joe kept doing it. I remember I stopped a couple of years because me and Joe went to Hartford High together. And then eventually, I was going to Eastern a couple of years later. He wound up going to Eastern. I stopped drawing, and I tried to get back into it, but my hands I just wasn't into it. But I still was pretty good. I still was amazing, Joe. Like, you know, amazing what I was able to do. But I taught Joe proportion. I showed Joe all the books to look up as far as how to draw his characters and perspective and all that. Who to look up, which artists to look up to, and which artists not to look up to, so you don't develop bad habits. And I look at Joe. Joe been drawing for over 20 years. He picked up, he kept it going where I left off. I could be that right now with my art skill. Nope. Listening to JW suggested I not do it. I gave up an entire career because of that bullshit, man. And it's like, I could get back into drawing now. But it's funny, I used to draw comics, now I am a comic. But So I'm still continuing with my art, just in different avenues. But a part of me still wants to take the time to publish. I had one comic strip published at Metro Bridge years ago. I had one comic strip published years ago. in my senior year in high school. But I would like to produce one again. But I say that to say this. No adult, oh no, never too late, but no adult in their right mind should see a young child inspired and excited to do something as simple as drawing and writing stories. And that's all I used to do. At the time, I wasn't a porno addict. I wasn't an alcoholic, all the shit that I am now. Well, I'm still alcoholic, even though I haven't had a major drink. I haven't gotten drunk in 7 months, but to me, it's evil that the people from the quote-unquote truth took that away from me, man. They took that shit away from me, dude. And I hear other stories about other witnesses that were really good at basketball, took that away from them. And some of them people became crackheads and shit like that. Because that's all they wanted to do. You took away the thing they want to do the most in this physical life. What the fuck? Fuck it, this life is meaningless. Let me start using these drugs and shit. It's not all those witnesses' fault that did that to me, but they raped my mind, man. And looking back on it, it's some sick, evil shit. And if I'm ever fortunate enough to have a child, and that child gets to a certain age, and I see that he likes to draw and do comics and things of that nature, hopefully he will. I'm gonna do everything in my power to ensure that my child is a successful artist. And if I ever found out that some other adult was trying to put bullshit into my child's head, saying that you shouldn't draw, you should just be regular because God wants you to, and like not pursue your God-given gift, I would beat the fuck out of that motherfucker, yo. Cause that's it's not sexual assault, but it's a raping of the mind. They took away my innocence. I was inspired. I was zealous. I was enthusiastic about doing something real positive at a young age. I wasn't out in the streets. I wasn't into the gangs. I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't none of that. All I wanted to do was fucking draw comic books. And a few Jehovah's Witnesses took that shit away from me, man. That shit is crazy, yo. And so for people to follow a religion that's a dream shatterer, it says store up your treasures in heaven, but you still got to live on this earth while you're here. We don't know what the fuck is really going on the other side. Still be the most positive person that you can be while you have time here. You dig what I'm saying? Oh no, I'm not going through it at all. No, I'm good now. I'm just Sharice. Hey, shout out to Sharice too. She inspired me to do these videos because I always talk about my story, but I never recorded it. You understand? I think I made a video saying why I don't mess with religion in general, but I never specifically talked about JWs. But no, I'm not going through it now as far as that. I mean, it's like, what can I do? Like, I'm 39 and shit. I can't erase 30 years and go back. I mean, I wish, if I would have stayed with, yo, I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? I was drawing since I was 8 years old, but I stopped. If I was stuck with it, and I know I have so many ways, like there were a lot of things that used to like be roadblocks for me with art, because we used to always try to draw shit out of our imagination. I didn't really understand the concept of using references to help your artwork until years after I quit drawing. But like with the knowledge I have right now, if I would have stayed with it back then, yo, I would be the illest. I would be one of the illest comic book artists, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Look at my boy Joe Valentin Perez. Look up Joe Valentin Perez on my Facebook friends list. Joe Valentin Perez. Look at all his art, all of his artwork. I think it's the same name on Instagram. I taught that dude how to draw. Look how nice he is right now. And I taught him how to draw. I was 17 years old teaching 15, 14 years old how to draw. I always help people. I do the same shit with comedy now. But anyway, I ain't going through it. I'm just explaining my story. I'm actually I'm in a much happier place. I'm working out. I haven't drank in 7 months. Or got drunk. I've had a drink, like here and there. I had a shot the other day, but I didn't get drunk. You know what I'm saying? Haven't been drunk in 7 months. Working out. My blood pressure's down. Comedy getting way better. People are really starting to appreciate my comedy. I'm getting booked like crazy. as far as a newer comic, between 1 to 5 years within like the Connecticut area, it's me and James C. Moore. We getting booked the most. It's not even close. Not even close, dude. But anyway, for people to have this mentality to fucking just be dream killers, man, that shit is bad. That's some sad shit, dude. That shit is sick, man. And the thing that's so evil about Jehovah's Witnesses is that they act so loving and passive aggressive and condescending. Like, this is the way it's. Like I said before, they talk like William Shatner. They got like a William Shatner like condescending delivery. Well, this is the way that the Bible says you have to do this. It's not a good idea. I'm sorry. And just having so many individuals try to micromanage your life in every aspect of your being. And when you find out they all doing the same shit, but pretending like they're not, when you actually trying to be faithful and trying to do the real thing, man, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of parts to this because it's different Bible scriptures and stuff like that I can talk about that don't make it. Like I said, once something in the Bible totally doesn't make no sense to me, and it's a crucial book or a crucial scripture of the Bible and it makes no fucking sense, that to me that everything is done. Everything is done, man. Like I said, I'll bring it back to my analogy. I could be eating the greatest dish. I could be eating the greatest, let me use an example, the greatest lemon meringue pie in the world. I have never tasted a lemon meringue pie that ever tasted like this. I've had different pie. This pie is the fucking bomb. But I find out that the key ingredient is semen. I don't care how good the shit tastes. I can't eat it no more, yo. I can't eat the pie it's made with. It tastes good. It's delicious. I enjoyed it. I licked my fingers. Motherfucker, I scraped the, I'm trying not to curse, but I scraped the crumbs off the table. I ate the crumbs. I did everything. The pie was made with semen. I can't eat it. No. The story of Job is like semen, man. You following that, a God that reproves such nonsense? Nope. Don't hold that. Even the Adam and Eve account, semen. Why didn't Adam and Eve have sex before they partook of the fruit? They could have got, she could have got pregnant, and then their eyes was open afterwards, like sin after, and the kid would be good. Kind of like if a mother has AIDS, but she doesn't pass off AIDS to the baby. The doctors got ways of making you avoid AIDS. Yeah, I can't deal with it. So that was the main thing. That dream crusher shit really bothered me, because I love drawing comics more than anything. I love drawing comics more than I love singing. I wasn't even really a writer back then. I was an artist. I used to draw. I used to dance too. I was a break dancer too. But drawing was like, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. When I especially when my mind was really to it, and I really had a dope drawing, man. Like drawing was the thing that I really loved doing, and they took away my desire to do that shit, because they said God probably no scripture saying I couldn't draw it. You talking about this is funny. Let me turn this light back on. This is a funny thing. They're talking about, it's probably not a good idea because of the, okay, let me get to the William Shatner voice again. Because of the violent depictions that you are talking about in your comics, there is a strong chance that Jehovah, God, won't approve of what you're doing. It's funny they say that, right? But look at all the violent stories in the Bible. Lot looking back, Lot's wife looking back and being turned into a pillar of salt when Sodom and Gomorrah was being destroyed. Samson killing 1,000 men, 1,000 Pharisees or whatever, with the jawbone of a donkey. The bears that mauled the bears that mauled the group of kids that were making fun of the Hebrews because they had bald heads. You know what I mean? What else? It's so much crazy shit that this story. There's one scripture about a chick getting titty fucked. I can't remember what it is, but it said fornication between her breasts. There's a scripture I saw that back in the day. I think that made me masturbate one time. I was like, damn, it's a porn in the Bible. I think I read that scripture. I got horny and I went to the bathroom and I pleasured myself to a Bible scripture. What else? King David, when he sent, I think, I wanted to say it was Bathsheba, I can't remember, but some dude's wife, he sent the dude into war to get killed on purpose, just so King David can have sex with her, you know what I mean? There's a lot of pornographic scenes in the Bible, and there's a lot of war, people getting killed, and John the Baptist's head getting cut off, and put on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? The angels, in Sodom and Gomorrah, all the homosexuals, the blind homosexuals that was trying to rape the angels. You know what I mean? There's all these crazy depictions in the Bible that they read in the meetings all the time, and I can't just draw a comic book. Y'all reading shit that's like 1,000 times worse. I'm just flexing my creative ideas on a page, being positive, not doing crack. I'm not influencing anybody to do anything. You can literally read the Bible. How many people did shit because they read the Bible and interpreted it a certain way, and they killed people? Or, I mean, the Bible was used as a justification for slavery. Some people use the Bible as a justification for rape. Some people use the Bible as a justification for all kinds of dirty things, man. And they weren't about my comic books? Come on, man. Yeah. So they were dream killers. That's the main thing, man. And I'm sure if you ask a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses or people that left the truth, and that's so presumptuous to call something the truth that you can't even prove it. That's such an arrogant thing to call yourself. That's like, we have the truth. That's like me saying, well, I call myself God a lot, but that's a 5% thing or whatever. But that's like me calling myself a champion, but the race ain't over yet. We are the champions. The race ain't even over. The race of life isn't over until you die, right? But you're going to call yourself the champion. And the shit ain't even over yet. You feel me? Like, come on, man. Jehovah's Witnesses calling themselves the truth. That's some presumptuous, arrogant ass shit. And I always felt it kind of arrogant too, you know? They're very arrogant, man. But they act so nice. Hey, what up, Sage, baby? On my way to a comedy show, just talking about why I left the major reason why I left the Jehovah's Witness organization years ago. I pretty much was done with it by 18, but I officially stopped going. Oh, you was one too, Sage? Oh shit, I officially stopped going when I was 22, and I officially was done with Christianity by 2011. That's a whole other video, but I always felt some type of connection to like the Judeo-Christian God, but something just never really sat right with me. And then I came across this philosopher. He passed away in 1972. His name was Alan Watts. Look him up. Once I listened to Alan Watts, that changed my whole mind on religion, and I was done with it, man. I was totally done with it, man. Like I'm saying, listen, I don't knock people that want to like follow Jehovah's Witnesses or any religion. If you want to do that, that's cool. But when you get to the point where you're trying to pass it off as the truth, when you have no proof, and trying to like be condescending and shaming people and being passive aggressive and being dream killers to kids, don't be dream killers to kids. If a child wants to do something artistic and it's real positive and it's keep them out of the streets and it's keeping them away from premarital sex or just immature sex or whatever, because I don't premarital sex, premarital, schmemarital, it's all good. Just protect yourself and make sure you have consent, whatever, and protect yourself and try to know the person, whatever. But as long as whatever they're doing is keeping them away from all those things, how could you be a dream killer and take it away? So you take away my desire to draw comics. That's all I wanted to do. I got all this testosterone wanting to be released. I don't want to draw comics no more. So the girl's starting to come around, I'm sniffing around, I'm starting to get pussy. And you know what? There's a funny correlation. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19 years old, right? I did not lose my virginity until I was 19. But check it. I stopped drawing comics when I was 18. I stopped drawing comic books when I was 18. A year later, I'm getting pussy. Coincidence? I don't know. But I know I was real. I mean, I still like girls, and I had girlfriends here and there, but I was very in tune with wanting to draw comics and being a comic book artist. That was the most important thing. Just like comedy right now is the most important thing for me. I do this more than anything. I don't go out. I do comedy and I work. If I got an occasional chick I can hook up with, that's fine. But that's not a focus for me. But the same thing, comedy and work. Back then, I was about my books and I was about my art and the Jehovah's Witnesses. As soon as I stopped drawing comics, shortly after that, I started getting buns. Very shortly after that. Coincidence? I don't know. Hey, Sage, well, we kind of had this debate. Sage, I know that you're a Christian, and that's a whole nother discussion and a whole other debate that I am not going to entertain right now. We just focusing on why I left the JWs, and it's like, I talked about like scriptural doctrine in my last video about the story of Job, but the story of Job is enough for me not to want to deal with any denomination of Christianity, let alone Jehovah's Witnesses. But that's a whole nother debate, a whole nother story, and I could see us having a little. If you want, Sage, we can have a little podcast, so we can actually talk about that if you want to. I would love to do that. That'd be a dope ass video to have. But I know you're a Christian, you're married. Congratulations on your new baby. You know what I'm saying? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that. Merry New Year, Happy Christmas, all that. But Jehovah's Witnesses, they're passive aggressive, arrogant dream killers, man. They're nice people, but they're not really nice people, man. There's an underlying evil, and I always felt that since I was a little kid. Like, little children know when something is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? They can sense that shit. They can sense the evil. They're like cats almost. They can sense, or animals. They can sense that shit is wrong. And I always, as a youth, I always sensed that something was wrong. So does that make me an evil kid that I didn't want to be there? And then another thing that's whack about the Bible in general is how it fucking shits on education. In the beginning, with the story of Adam and Eve and the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and bad, God said if you eat from the tree, you positively will die. But you get knowledge. Why the hell was such a negative restriction placed on knowledge? I can't co-sign anything that demonizes knowledge. And the Bible demonizes women too. Because she was the one that influenced Adam to eat from the tree. I can't rock with nothing that demonizes knowledge, and I can't rock with anything that demonizes women. I can't. Nope. I'm not gonna do that, yo. But that's Christianity in general. That's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. I have to have a video about Christianity in general. Because I said all Jehovah's Witnesses are, like I said before, it's the bastard child of Christianity. And Christianity is basically is a child of Protestantism. And Protestantism is a child of Catholicism, and Catholicism is a child of Judaism. Judaism is the beginning, and then Judaism borrows from ancient Kemet, if you want to go way back. If you look at the Ten Commandments, the Code of Hammurabi predates the Ten Commandments by fucking 10,000 years or some shit like that. And it's the same exact thing, word for word, verbatim. Instead of saying thou shalt not, it says you mustn't. You mustn't kill, you mustn't covet your neighbor's wife, you mustn't do this. You know what I mean? But like I said, Sage got me wanting to delve into what I'm trying not to, debating with Christians, and I'm not debating with that. This is not a debate. This is me explaining why I left, and I would never go back. I would never try to teach this to any child, and I would never be a dream killer to a kid. That's just as bad. It's not just as bad as raping a kid, but it's on par with that, because you're taking away their innocence, you're taking away their inspiration. You feel lost. It's like, damn, I can't draw comics anymore. What the fuck can I do now? This is crazy. This is all I wanted to do. I can turn this light off now. This is all I wanted to do, and they took that away from me. Now, I'm almost a 40-year-old man. My thumbs they're not in shape. My hands aren't in shape the way they used to be. I can't draw for more than 5 minutes. You know, I'm just an old dude. I'm an old man. I'm an old man. I'm gonna draw a comic book though. I'm I'm definitely going to draw something. I'm definitely Sage. I actually, you can see us like we've done this before. You know what I'm saying? A little bit, not video wise, but we've done this via text, and we always like you have your beliefs and I have mine. We never curse each other out. You know what I mean? I make fun of Christians or whatever. I don't go as hard religion as I used to. Like people do, you know, they do whatever. But every now and again, I got to vent because me coming up in a religious background is a huge component of who I am. You know what I'm saying? So every now and again, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to lament about where I came from. It confuses me why some people do it. Well, I don't mock nobody, but I would never raise no kid. I mean, my logic is for all the time that I'm teaching my child about the Bible, I mean, I can just give them basic instructions on how to be just a decent human being. And instead of teaching them how to quote scriptures, I need to teach them and understand money and finances and stocks and bonds and mutual funds and things that are actually of a physical, intrinsic, have a physical and tangible value. If all the years that I was spending studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, I was spent, somebody taught me like to understand how money works. Dude, I'll be a multi-millionaire right now, man. If they taught me how to have discipline with my finances, I'll be in Los Angeles right now pursuing, excuse me, oh my God. Throat is dry. I'll be in LA right now pursuing my comedy career. And I'm still going to go to LA to pursue my comedy career. They ain't stopping. My throat is so dry right now, gosh. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If I could think of another topic, there are other topics, but and I could talk about this stuff forever. I want to gather my thoughts a little bit more. I think my thoughts were pretty much gathered. I don't need notes or anything like that. I'm pretty good with going off the cuff with these types of things because these are discussions that I've had with myself. Oh no, I don't got a cold. No, it's like it's allergies, man. Like my throat just real dry right now. It's like dry air. You know what I'm saying? It's not a cold. I love how people cross the street in all black, like they just want to die at nighttime. Like what the fuck, assholes. But this was a really, really fun time talking to you guys. Just to sum it up, man, Jehovah's Witnesses, they some condescending dream killers, man. That's enough for me not to want to deal with them. Period. That's why it was weird to me that Prince, all those years later, he joined the Jehovah's Witnesses because he still was rocking his goatee. He still was rocking his perm and dressing all dainty, like cute or whatever. And still doing music on the road and stuff. And you know why they ain't say nothing? Because Prince probably was donating millions of pounds, millions of dollars all the time. So hey, go ahead, Prince, keep your bangs and your mustache with the Beijing dye, and you keep all that. As long as you keep that money coming to the Watchtower Society, we straight. Thank you, Prince. You ain't the Prince of Princes. You ain't Jesus, but your contributions are helping. You should make a video about it, man. Sage, make a video about your experience. I haven't seen you drop a video out in a minute. Do that. If you got the time, like right now I'm commuting, I'm picking up my homie right now so we can go to this, my comedy show. But, oh my God. Make a video, man. Oh my goodness gracious. It's funny, you said the Bible tells you to do all those things as far as getting educated and all that, but Jehovah's Witnesses, they want you to get educated, but they want you to have just a minimal basic education, like just carpenters and plumbers and all that. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's like when you don't go to college and don't really explore different things, it's easy to make you like keep you as a slave because you have a limited world view. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to see the Sage Ponders though. I definitely want to check that out. My homie she just hit me up. I should be there like any minute now. Like 1 minute. That's what it's saying. Oh my God, I'm coughing. I feel like hair is in my throat. Oh yeah, I definitely seen the Book of Eli. The Book of Eli is dope. Book of Eli is awesome, man. Nice post-apocalyptic movie. The Book of Eli is very similar to I Am Legend. They're very similar movies. Very similar. Huh? Oh, I missed my turn. Oh shit. Let these people go around me real quick. Oh no, I ain't missed my turn. Hold up 1 second. Yeah, my bad, yo. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I had to say. I'll definitely do some more of these videos. I gotta get more of in a comedic mind state, if you will. Comedy mindset. I got 15 minutes tonight, baby, at Antane in Boston, Massachusetts. So, man, this shit look crazy. If you're in the Boston area, you want to see me do some comedy, the flyer's actually on my page. Just look it up. There's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to give you that shit right now. Up here, motherfucking Willamanic and all this darkness and shit. But I'll holler at y'all, man. Peace.